Good evening, everyone. It's already night almost, right? Barely evening anymore. But such is the schedule for this week. With F1 having weird... Oh, that's quite nice lighting. With F1 having weird times and rescheduling and all like that. It's a late time for a race, but it's gonna be a good race regardless. 5 minutes of practice and then probably 15 minutes of qualifying and then 2 hours of Bahrain. I think I'll fuel up quite a lot because it is kind of cold, I think. 26 Celsius and track temp, yeah, it's gonna take quite a long time for it to cool down, to heat up, I mean. My brain is slightly fried from everything, from all the 8 hours of racing yesterday. It was quite a long race yesterday. Music off. I hope the sound is fine. BMW hypercar tends to be quite loud, so if there is a problem, let me know and I'll adjust the volume. Meanwhile, I try to negotiate the cold tires. Just quick double check if this all works actually. It should be all working, right? It is. With excellent connection, it says. Alright. Well, hi Mario, hi Nicholas, hi James. I wrote a comment to you, James, here on the chat, but looks like YouTube kind of cancelled it. I cannot see it anymore. Hi Yoyo, audio is good, perfect. Thank you for all the likes already deployed, much appreciated. This is the worst corner for the BMW, I think, because the car really hates trail braking, and that's the most trail braking that's ever required from any car in that corner. But we will manage. I have taken the Fuji setup and reduced the rear wing a little bit, and I'm getting quite nice rotation all around, but it's just low grip because of these low temperatures. It's gonna take such a long time to get up to temp. You know what? Where are you? Devices, LED, where is my BMW colors? There you go. Maybe good time to practice to practice pit entry. That's too early. It would be unfortunate to get some drive-thrus in the race. We will have to do two pit stops, I believe. And I can actually... Where are you, Mr. Tiny Pedal Overlay? There you are. Config, units and symbols. It's medium, hard and wet. Apply, save. Oh, there we have some buggy headlights still displayed on the asphalt even though the car is gone. That's quite a nice feature of the game. I think it gets confused if somebody escapes or something and then the headlights are still displayed. Hello, Jose. It's quite funny that I think I'm like P5 or P6 rating wise, like driver rating wise here. I just have lost so much with those crashes with the broken LMP2s or crashes with the broken PC. I mean, apologies in advance if PC crashes again, but I've done all the extra precautions that it shouldn't really happen. Actually, one more precaution that I can do. Le Mans Ultimate runs on the efficiency mode in Task Manager by default. I will turn that off in Task Manager. Maybe that can provide me extra few percent chances of my PC staying alive. Hi honey, have I checked the NR profiles for my rim? I have not checked the NR profiles for my rim. Wait, have you suggested that to me before? I kind of forgot everything. And that would have been a nice breaking point. Nice honk. As we wait for the session to move. Start driving. Let's be first in the road. Ah, we are not first. Headlights are required, of course. What's the frame rate? 74. 60. Yeah, this is going to be quite difficult. Why are you... Okay. I guess there is no ruling in LMU that would disallow me from just going around all the cars in the pit lane, but it would be unsportsmanlike anyway. Some people are cutting across there. I didn't know that's allowed, or assume game gives some kind of cut this and next lap. He has by far the best profiles. All right. Yeah, I will check it out at some point. Nice bollard. That's many GTEs that have to be overtaken. I think my mic is in a weird place. I don't know what happened. Should be right. Is that one more GTE? Hope so. No, there is a Ferrari ahead. Should get him before the start-finish line anyway, but like first lap will not count anyway. If we have 48, 46, 47 CLs on the tires, it's gonna take like 5 laps before these tires have optimal grip. I just mustn't wear them down too fast. Hi, Lide Ferry, 9 AM. Ah, yeah, that's probably not... I mean, it's still kind of European based, right? I suppose most of the fans are from Europe, so it's always, for the time being, going to be hard to find morning full servers. But eventually, if things go well for LMU and player base increases, then there should be good races in the morning as well. Hi Joao, hi Enzaru. ACC or LMU? For me that's one of the easiest questions, and it's without a doubt LMU. But I mean, both games are in exactly like as much different phases of development as they could be in. ACC is at the end of its updated life, and LMU is basically still a beta or like early access. So for ACC, that's it mostly, and it still feels terrible for me. I cannot get any feeling of it. Well, he wanted to overtake me, but I got a cut for that. Well, I'll let him go. His lap is somewhat destroyed by this, but again, this lap is not counting. It's just no grip yet. Actually, it's just 6 minutes to go. I thought it was going to be a longer quali session, so, well, 4 more laps. So it's important to start putting some energy into the tires. And yeah, VEC, like WEC, is surely on a very good path. Those hypercar races are crazy. The class itself is crazy. So difficult to drive and so difficult to have everything go wrong. And BOP is working beautifully. Seems like to me, at least. Yeah, it sometimes just doesn't show the length of the session, sometimes it just says 2 hours of practice. It's nice. A nice rejoin. So the UI surely has to be improved at some point. Not sure why it's not always displaying what it should display. Struggling with the traction a bit. Let's see how the lap times are. 1 more second to find. I did that lap time on a full tank before, so I should still have some pace remaining. But there will be traffic now. It just won't bite. Ay ay ay. Well, gaining 4 tenths still. It's just gripping more and more with the rising temps. A nice lockup. So I have time for 2 more laps, but P6 with purple S3. I have to get more space. This is a messed up lap already anyway. Let's see at which point we catch the GTEs. The brakes will be so difficult with the BMW. Locking both rear and front. I need to brake earlier. I will let him through. And there should be just enough time for one more lap. Maybe let's not block the Peugeot behind. There should be some clear enough space. Oh, that was a big lag. Why that happened? Hi Peter, thank you. Finally, at least some rotation. Well, that's terrible. Anyway, maybe I can gain a 10th in the last corner. Nope. Well, a bit more of pit lane practice. Alright. Oof. So I'm lacking 6 tenths, 7 tenths to P1. I think I had like 2 or 3 easy tenths if I just pulled together a lap. But the car is not cooperating with me. So hopefully it's gonna be better in the race. Wait, how much? Well, the temperatures are dropping fast now, but I think the temperatures never really rose to where they should be. Oof. Gonna be a fun race. Some very fast drivers in there, for sure. At least, like, again, I'm like P5 or P6 in the driver rating here. So even if it goes a bit wrong, it will be a fun race. The fuel ratio, maybe I take a click extra. I guess I can tape it a little bit. No fear of overheating here. Wait. I think I was on the default setup. Yes. Potentially I was on the default setup now. Because I checked this season, it was 7, 6, 10 or something, and that's the default. And fuel ratio was... I don't know. Well, if that's the case... I'm confused, I have it assigned, no? Yeah, load... Assigned set of factor... Oh no. Yep, I think I was officially on the default setup. Yeah, that's why it was feeling a bit off. Alright, well. Always good to have a good excuse for slightly worse performance. Okay. Well, let's make the best out of this. What's the strategy looking like? It's 2 hours race and these cars can easily do 40 minutes, so it should be probably like 45, 45, 30 or something like that. But let's see. Well, the tapes probably are not of too great of importance anyway, so maybe a couple of milliseconds per lap. So, alright. Whom did I not greet before? Hi Xesh, hi Cat, hi Killa Busy. Michi struggled with temps, yeah. It's a struggle with temps for sure. Anyway, green, green, green. Four wide. Well, thank you for the bonk. I was looking at the radar more than on the track, but I think that was as good as it could have gone. Gained 2 positions. I was just so fearful that I'm gonna get the cut at turn 1 and then the guy who I kind of illegally overtook spun out or something, then I would have to leave the whole, like, let the whole grid pass me, but luckily it was the correct car, so... Yeah, this feels a lot better than the quali setup. Wait, that's Wisner ahead. He was on pole position, I think. Why is he P5 now? Well, maybe let's make a move. He's not defending. Around the outside. Oh. Big crash behind. Heard the big bonk. Really not sure if it's better to make a V-shape entry into that hairpin or U-shape. Need to do more testing. I will try to catch up on my dear chat on a straight. I had to fully focus now. But things are stabilizing, so looks like I'm not too much of pace of the leaders as well. Živio Jure, yes, that's my own setup. I will not say it's the best, it's quite bottomy on the straights. I'm oscillating, like porpoising a lot, but it's not really porpoising. Purple sector 3, nice. Hi Godfrey, hi Victor, and hi Zoltan and Kari. And Jankish. There is a radar and bro still forgot You were there. Oh well. It's kind of understandable in these first corner situations. Being 4 or 5 wide and you can never know who's gonna dive bomb on the inside. I kind of was slightly forcing myself into the apex there. But there was sufficient space, so I had good chances of survival, so I went for it. But the car that's tight on the inside is always going to get squeezed out or squeezed onto the apex curb. So let's see the lap times now. 46.7. Fedorchenko with the Toyota is fast. Volker with Ferrari 46.5. Well, let's see. Jankash, how am I feeling after yesterday's win? Well, quite shattered, to be honest. I mean, it was on paper easy win. It was not easy though. It was like 8 hours of trying to be 1/10 faster than the Porsche behind us. That's a cut. How many cuts we got? We got 5 cut points for 2 hours. Well, I need to be careful with that. But why did the BMW suddenly grip into that corner? Well, the number of usable tires is for sure quite a limiting factor. Although I admit I never really analyzed any race of WEC to really get the idea of how it's going. But I think, I mean, it makes sense, right? I can brake later there. Had to back out of the brake pedal a little bit. Yeah, I suppose I got used to the default setup during the practice and quali, and I'm just getting a lot better rotation now on my setup. It just rotates. The rear still will not stick as it should, but at least there is the rotation. I need to monitor if I'm destroying the rears more than the fronts, but for now everything feels symmetrical. Purple sector 2, that's gonna be a competitive lap time, I suppose. 46.6, yeah, the pace is there, so that's good. Actually 2 purple sectors, that's even better, but I don't know how much the leaders are lift and coasting and fuel saving. Can't let Alexei win. Well, I can't let anybody else win, right? If I want to win. And I'm surely here to win, so let's see how that goes. Do I miss racing LMP2s? I don't know, I do miss it to some extent, because they're really fun cars and the feeling is amazing and the downforce is nice and they're agile but still powerful enough. But at the same time, I've driven so much of the LMP2s in the past years in R Factor 2 that I kind of wish to drive something else. So the hypercars are a beautiful challenge. And yeah, endurance race win is never easy indeed. Any single thing going wrong can immediately mean 10 seconds gone, and then you're out of sync with some strategy and you're in some traffic, and yeah. Like Buemi yesterday, poor man. Into turn 1 got rear-ended by the GT3. Is that a GTE already? Ah, that's a yellow Porsche. Well, about the wing, I have not really tested it, so I don't know. I just took the Fuji setup, and the Fuji setup was Kota setup with a couple of clicks on the suspension, and at Kota it was max downforce. So at Fuji it felt competitive even with max wing, but I do think that this BMW hypercar is not really too sensitive, like each click of wing is not too big, doesn't feel like it gains much. And I remember at Kota, when we were racing against David, and David was in the Peugeot, and he was on max wing, I was on max wing, and he had absolutely no chance against the BMW, so BMW is good on the straight line, so it can take higher rear wing. First proper batch of GTEs incoming, looks like. Remember, the Porsches are terrible on the brakes. They're still LMDH like the BMW, but they are, I think, much worse on the brakes. So I might have a chance to outbrake Ciclari ahead, but it's gonna be almost impossible to outbrake the Ferraris and the Toyota. I need to do something with the traction control. I don't know, what is it? Is it slip angle? Is it cut? Let's try both. It's slightly better, but it's still kind of dancing a little bit. And yeah, about the strategist, if not for anything else, it's really good to have somebody on TeamSpeak or Discord, just to be able to take a proper break, because if there are two drivers doing 8 hours, then it's inevitable that one guy will for some time drive alone without any support. I think the rear is a little bit better now. I was fearing that it would be too slow, too restricted, but it's just about right with the increased traction control. And the tires are slowly about to be in the optimal window. What was that Porsche doing? The GTE, I think he kind of almost touched my rear left. Double understeer for both Ciclari and myself. What about Caddy? Well, Caddy is nice, but probably one of the most difficult cars in LMU. It rotates really good in the corners, into the hairpins of course, but it's so easy to lock up. Although it could have been just my setups. Because I think when I was driving the Caddy, I didn't quite understand some things yet. Hi Arnold. What, when, what? Was the what when about the upcoming WEC races in LMU? If that was about that, well, it's speculation. I mean, the Cadillac is basically the same car as the BMW in real life. It's the same chassis, so it's kind of similar here as well. But yeah, I think what Caddy has is that the front dives a lot more, so you get a lot more rotation if you can control it. But at the same time, you get a lot more inconsistency. That sequence of the GTEs hurt us a little bit. Maybe lost a second to Fedorchenko. Well, that was slightly deep. Hi Domi. Hi Andy. Hi Explained. GT3s are incoming. Well, they said Q4 half of the GT3s and Q1 other half of the GT3s. So I would assume that during Christmas season we will be able to enjoy some GT3s for sure, together with the track. I hope it's gonna be Interlagos first. And I would be quite looking forward to trying the McLaren 720 GT3 and have a back-to-back comparison with the RF2 one. That's a lapped Porsche, I see. And the track is getting quicker now. 46.2. That's fast. I'm just a sim racer, unfortunately. I always wanted to be a real life driver, but well, there was no chance here in Slovenia. But I'm not, I mean, I'm quite happy anyway, because I'm kind of doing this for a living for now. Although we are of course waiting on a big esports series happening. Slightly late on the brakes, but I think I got it. I think Ciklari cut the corner ahead. Yeah, of course it will be the the newer McLaren version. Although it's still 720, right? So. What can you do in sim, like when you have a 720 in RF2 and you're a developer? What do? I guess you take the 720 from RF2, copy paste the files, try to get as much real life data as possible, but teams will be reluctant to give too many details. So then you try your best to make it as realistic as possible. But in the end of the day, it's still baseline of it. It's still a copy paste from RF2. So let's see. Of course, the tire model is a lot different in LMU. Much more detailed and with more features. And yeah, Qatar, it's gonna be Interlagos and Qatar, right? So I guess one this year and one early next year. Professional sim racer. Well, that's what I have been from November 2020. Although kind of I mean, for now, for the past year, or let's say since January, there wasn't really any big esports events. In January I had the Sim Formula Europe LAN event, where when I won this beautiful wheel rim that I have now, and a couple of nice monies as well. So that was kind of the last top esports event. But well, I hope more are incoming. And then of course, being in Slovenia, born in Slovenia, there was never enough interest or like not any racing sentiment and not enough money to even think of being a professional sim racer, a professional real life racer. But it's much more viable, much easier to earn enough for a living here as a sim racer compared to living, I don't know, in Germany, in the UK. Cut detection at Qatar. Oh no. Yeah, I would say Qatar is a really good track, but those curbs absolutely destroy it. Like, it's so stupid. I really hope that they get that new invention of those blue lines from FIA that are like anti-cut blue lines and that go together with narrow curbing, like they did on many tracks. Most notably at the penultimate corner exit at Kota, where Lando binned it or cut it. Was it Lando, I think, at Kota, right? I might be wrong though. Somebody cut that corner. But if they do that with all the Qatar curbs, then it could be quite a nice track. Of course, it's never fun to race against some imaginary limits, It's always much better to have a physical limit to go near to. We're all the same fast. The gap to P1 is absolutely the same as every other lap. And I cannot really get a good run on Ciclari ahead. Yeah, for the other content, I suppose, I would assume that the LMU will just need to grow a lot. Like, probably they will release the GT3s and the other two tracks, and then unfix the bugs and bring private servers and driver swap and VR, official VR support and stuff like that. And then they will say it's not early release anymore, it's a proper release. And then MSG will hope that suddenly thousands of people buy it. And if and when it becomes actually profitable thing to do, they will probably look into some historic content or IMSA or something like that. That's how I see it, but all based on pure speculations. I have to check the fuel a little bit. I can do 13 more laps on the energy. I think I have a bit too much fuel. And I've been kind of ignoring the battery a little bit. As long as it's not clipping, it's alright, but well, let's put it to 30 for now. The only thing I lose by having zero battery is... Well, I don't... on LMDH you don't lose anything, because it's all on the rear wheels anyway, so... If you don't have the battery, then... the combustion engine will replace it, and you will not feel any difference. But on LMH cars it's on the front, so your battery is empty. You don't get that extra acceleration from the front axle at speeds above 190. I mean, yeah, the battery is not clipping as aggressively as it used to be in the first months of the game release, because they added that exponential slowing, or like inversely exponential at full and at empty battery, so it's slower. It doesn't hit you abruptly, but like very slowly, gradually. Well, that's a Toyota. That's Alexei. P1. Was there a GTE traffic, or he did... I think he did it on his... No. What if it was actually the Corvette? That's exact copy-paste of poor Buemi yesterday. If that was actually the case. There's a chance that actually that happened, except it was a different corner. Now we have two Ferraris in the lead. thought of diving the Ferrari, but it would be too dangerous. Unfortunate positioning of that Porsche. Couldn't get a run on the guys, but well, they will be maybe will to wheel into turn 1. Hi Pranav. Yeah, I'm tryharding. Well, I'm trying to make 3 streams per week, right? So with the very important 8 hours race yesterday, I had to be well rested, so it was just a Tuesday stream. And actually I was thinking of skipping it today because I felt a bit off. But in the end, I fell asleep for a couple of laps during F1 after Max did Max things. Which, for those of you who didn't want spoilers, could mean either crashing out Lando Norris or winning by heavy margin. And after those Max things happened, I kind of fell asleep, so then I felt slightly better. And then I saw many fast drivers registering for this, and then I thought, well, let's have it a go. And a go we are having. Hi Lily, I have 2 screens actually. Well, I have the ultra wide, 49-inch ultra wide, and a secondary monitor at the top, which is basically 4 versus 3 ratio, like 25 years old monitor, still working somehow, but it's sufficient for what I need. This is gonna get spicy. I think Fedorchenko got a run on Scolari, but he's just gonna have a look. Copy on. After today's F1 racing quali, one can feel very ecstatic or very shitty. The Ferraris got messed up by that. What is it, a Porsche? It is a green Porsche. So we're almost 5 cars within 2 seconds. What a race. 65-inch LG. Yeah, I kind of wished I have triple screens sometimes. Because, well, even if it's 49-inch and even if I raced for 10 years with just a normal 27-inch screen, I still kind of like a little bit of sideways vision in some hairpins, let's say, or when we're having wheel-to-wheel battles. Although having a radar and mirror, like the virtual mirror, helps a lot. But for the time being, my GPU could never run triples. And this ultra-wide has been serving me quite well. Daniel Wiesner has left the race. He was on the pole, right? He must have had terrible lap 1. What base I'm using? It's a Simicube 2 Pro. Volker is struggling in P1. I wonder if he's fuel saving or something. I must get those Porsches before the braking. It's a Ferrari and a Porsche. That's not gonna be nice. But I cannot really dive him. Or I can, alright. Understeering to me? Alright. Ay. Not best. Lost a second. Happens. It's a bit late on the brakes. Well, I have to think of the strategy now. It's 2 stints and 3/4, I think. Nice lock up, and then I think it's very low tire temps, but the abrasion is quite high. Yeah, I don't think we will be swapping tires twice. It's extra 12 seconds for all 4 tires. Meanwhile, I'm still setting purple sector 2s, so... I might have a little bit of a plan. LMU or ACC? I did try to answer that before, maybe I was too late, but it's LMU for sure. I did enjoy some LFM races with ACC in the past, but it was never... there is just no good connection between the tires on the road. It just feels the wheels are wooden. But in LMU, well, sometimes FFB is not what it should be, or like it's lacking a little bit. It's still kind of there. It feels connected to the ground. And if it's weak, it just means that you actually don't have any grip. But in ACC, it just feels like a centering spring sometimes. And you feel more and more weight the more you're turning in, but actually the peak grip was actually way earlier in the turning cycle. Thank you for the subs. Hi Pedro, thank you. Hi Michelle. How do I make telemetry work on LMU? It's the same plugin as it is on RF2. It's data, what is it called? The DAM plugin. DAM plugin on, I think it's on Studio 397 forum. And you basically just copy the files or install it into the LMU folder. And then you need to enable extra channels in config file. And then you have Motec, like you get logs that you can then load into Motec. I hear more sub notifications, so thank you guys so much for the subs. Very much appreciated. I might be at 1.1k subs already now. That's quite beautiful. And yeah, telemetry for LMU, it's just Motec. I mean, you can use different. You can get telemetry through SimHub or anything else. Like there is this bunch of channels that are exported from LMU, so any program can pull them. So like for the red squares that you sometimes see on my steering wheel, or for those lights here, the LEDs, I'm using Motec that's pulling live telemetry data from the car for slip angles and for tire temps. But the tire temp ones never show up because the tires are just deep frozen due to the night and cold track conditions. Oh, that's a Cadillac? Nah, that's a Corvette. I keep mixing up Caddy and Corvette. Yeah, that's right for RF2. But yeah, again with programs like them plugin and Motec, and I mean you can see that through SimHub as well. Just display the FFB output, and you will see it peaking at some value, and then you know it's clipping there. And yeah, about the strategy, I'm thinking of under fuel. I could do just left side tire change as well, as I'm getting my red notification on the steering wheel that the battery is quite full. It's gonna be a cut. I'll lift it a little bit, 0.25, that's alright. But look at this BOP. Top 5 is having 4 different hypercars, all setting more or less the same lap times. What a nice sight. $1.1k subs, beautiful. Thank you, Mario. Yeah, for G923, it is not. I mean, it's not easy, of course. It clips so fast. I've been using the FGT, which is even less strong than the G923, for 7 years, I think, and it was always so difficult to get the most out of it, even for the belt-driven Trustmaster wheels. It was difficult to always set it so that you would get maximum of the FFB, to like make it clip in over some heavy curbs or in some places where you don't really need it, to get more of it than in slow corners. Oh, that was quite a nice rotation. So, what do we do about the tires? I've never done that before, but I could just change the left side like this. And then it's 4 seconds instead of 12. But I don't know how the car will perform. Did I do that once? I fear that there's gonna be massive lockups. And that car was understeering wide on the pit exit. That was hectic. And now another batch of the GTEs is coming. Ooh, big dive. Is he gonna make it? He didn't make it. Well, if you're still getting crashes... Wait, I need to maybe... why was it? Thought I was in the first gear. Anyway, it's if you're getting crashes, it's good to check those community support chat in the LMU Discord. And the Ferraris are pulling away. 2 more laps. And the Toyota can just brake 10 meters later. Unlucky Aston. Toyota is always best in the corners. Eee, what was that? Honk. Alright, so the longevity is on our side, but those moves by the Toyota were slightly dubious. So pit stop requested. I believe they were all kind of, or most of them will do a full pit stop. I don't know, should I try this? Front left and rear left. New mediums. Other tires old. They do that in real life, you know. It should work. Jakob, go for the science. Alright, well, I'm going for the science. Where is our pit box? It's there, alright. I'm happy that we've gone as long as the others. 45 seconds virtual energy, 5 seconds. It's 5 seconds for the tires, alright. Small snack. This is gonna be one very interesting pit exit now. And one very interesting outlap. And the car is already pulling into the side of new tires. Well, let's see what the science has in store for us. I can cut here. Really? Ooh, it's already locking up. This feels so weird. So left side is cold. So left side will lock up and will kill me. Brake early. Try to get some grip. I'm in P1 though, so that's nice. You know what? This is not too bad. This already feels alright. Like it should. Let's into this corner. Well, I was very cautious, but no lockup. And I should actually have more grip for some laps now, because the right side tires are fine. Still feels quite weird. So by doing this I gained 7 seconds. And maybe... well, I gained more time than 7 seconds, I think. So... hi Michi. So this road here, you can supposedly take out of pits without a penalty. I don't trust that. I would need to check it in practice. I recently learned you could do that. You can do that at Portimao, because there is like extra service road or like extra pit entry, pit exit road that cuts the turn 1 apex. And that one indeed has no penalty, but for this one here at Bahrain, I'm really surprised to see that being the case. And if that is the case, then that needs to be reported and patched, because that would be quite weird. Although, to be honest, the current pit exit lane did cause some heavy impacts in the past, even in Formula 1. If you remember, was it... who was it? Some Sauber, I remember, or was it Maldonado even, going on its roof. Although, probably it would be even worse if they used this service road, because then you would be like almost going for a head-on collision. Or maybe 90 degrees angle collision. This science is beautiful. I like doing science like this. New tires on the left, old tires on the right. For now I'm kind of flying. Pace is good. Gaps are not decreasing to the guys behind. Issue is that for the second pit stop they will not change any tires, and I will change only right tires, and then I will have even greater differential between new on the old ones. But if it's anything like this, it should be fine. Like for one lap it's a bit worrying and then it becomes alright. But well, this is the endurance strategy in action. I don't think I can keep the tires till the end, to be honest. I think I would hit 0%. Not sure. So rear right is 66 now. So it would go, like if it was 70, it would go down to 40. No, actually it's doable, right? It would be doable to make a zero tire change race, but in the past it always turned out that boxing and changing tires is better, because it's just 12 seconds and you can so quickly regain those 12 seconds back. I'm quite confused now. Like I was supposed to be faster for first few laps, but by now the tires are kind of there, right? Like left side now is almost the same hot as the right side. So they should in theory have fresher tires with same temperature, so they should be quicker. I mean, they're not dropping down. Maybe very slightly. But the gaps have kind of stabilized. Although, to be honest, all this judging no tire change versus tire change is mostly, if not all, about the track temperatures. And at the moment we have 20.7 track temperature and it's just not producing any thermal degradation. Delta will tell the story, of course. I see the Ferraris have swapped the position. Was slightly late, but rotation was nice. I never know if I should use first or second gear. I think in second gear it's still using traction control a lot. But for the rotation purposes, I need first. It's just not rotating in low speed. Just LMDH things. Well, I blame the class, but maybe I should blame my setup or my driving. And in the end of the day, it's hypercar, right? Heavy, clumsy, doesn't have much grip. So one cannot really expect much front end or much traction from it. Purple sector 3. I cannot believe it. That's again, I think that's a bug that's still there. So many times I get purple S3 for no reason. Well, maybe it was faster, but I don't believe it. Hi Andy, yes indeed. Well, same as having PC crash. Was a good DR loss. But you know, I can get a PC crash today as well. Although there is absolutely no reason for it to crash after all the precautions and fixes that I have done together with my friend who is a PC technician. And yeah, Volker is G2. Andy is here. Okay. So Andy, I was told that you can cut the pit lane exit, like cut whole turn 1 and use the service road and get no penalty. Maybe double check. Hi GS Sim Racing, I hope I have fixed the game crashes. I have had 3 game crashes in 3 months. I have updated power supply, well, upgraded power supply, and lately I've done a BIOS. Well, I have new BIOS, and it doesn't overboost the CPU anymore, which means that my FPS is terrible, or even more terrible, but supposedly it should maybe not be causing those extreme moments at which the game was maybe crashing, but it's so hard to reproduce anything. It's so easy to reproduce a lockup. DX11 issues. And reinstall the runtime, okay. Well, that's something I can do. But again, it happened one time in RF2 and 2 times in LMU, and how it happened was different each time. So it's so difficult. It could be 2 or 3 different issues, you know. When you come out of pits, yes, like skip the whole turn 1 section and just rejoin out of turn 2, or like through turn 2. Well, the 750 watt power supply before was supposedly borderline for 12,600 K i5 and 3080 RTX, so I went from 750 to 1000 watts. And again, the first crash that I had was just a complete blank monitor, like and silence from the PC, so it actually turned off. It didn't restart, it just turned off. But it did restart as soon as I pressed the turn on button on the PC case, and that was exactly like a power supply crash would look like. But thank you for that DX11 idea. So we will be able to double check if there is something with that. But I mean, it's impossible to know. I have stress tested the PC a lot, GPU and CPU and everything. RAM, nothing was crashing. The temperatures were beautiful and all like that. So just hard to say. Yeah, the 3080 for me is doing 340. Watts. Thank you. Alright, GS, yeah, I'll note it down. Again, if it was crashing every day once, or if it was reproducible, it would be so much easier to find a problem. But I'm easily racing for a whole month in many different sims, and it crashes. Well, it has crashed 3 times in the past 3 months, so 2 times before power supply change, 1 time after the power supply change. So I cannot really test it. I mean, I'm just testing every time I drive then, but there is no way for me to perform like to get like back-to-back data. Hi Ducat, yeah, old hardware is always best. It was so funny back in the old days of RF2 when it was still getting kind of developed, and people on the newest hardware were having all kinds of stutters and freezing, but I was just on old hardware as well, getting just normal experience, no stuttering, no anything. But I need the frame rate nowadays. That corner is so interesting. Whatever line I take, the delta is absolutely the same. I see my battery is kind of empty. Yeah, the only real issue of this empty battery is that when I box, if it's on 0, then it's DNF, because the engine shuts off on LMDH cars. Never a week without a crash. Yeah, well, GS, then for you for sure. Like, you can do back-to-back testing then for sure. If you have reproducible, or like, if you have many crashes so you can gather the data. But I cannot really do anything. For me, the simplest thing is just to change one thing, and then hope a crash never happens again. And when it happens, I change another thing, and maybe 2 months later I get another crash, and oh well. When these new X3D AMD CPUs get released, as I said probably numerous times already, I'm gonna try to get one. And then we are probably safe. what are my graphic settings? So GPU is 3080 RTX. For the graphic settings, I'm not sure what exactly you mean. They are, well, in-game it's all kind of on lowest. I do have the higher performance mode enabled in NVIDIA control panel and stuff like that. Yeah, they announced it last week, the X3D one. I've read it should be coming up this week or maybe next week. But then not sure at which point the resellers will actually have it, especially in kind of a weird country or a weird market like Slovenia is. Another purple sector free. Maybe I believe it this time. That late downshift to first just seems to induce quite a lot of rotation, but I fear it just seems to, and it maybe just induces a bit of instability that feels like extra rotation, but in fact it's maybe like in iRacing where whatever you do will destroy the rotation. Any little excitation when the car is loaded will destroy the rotation there. It kind of feels somewhat like that. Although here you can play a lot more with the grip through the corner and readjust your line. Well, the Delta is telling its story still. Look at that. Not really losing any pace. And let me guess, another purple sector free? Ah, this time it's green. Somebody stole it from me. But look at the tire temperatures. Like now the right side is very cold. Okay, it's a clockwise circuit, so that's kind of natural, but I do believe that I mean, I know that thing is going on where having less rubber on the tire will result in lower temperatures. And I think that's exactly what's going on. Second gear is fine. I even gain a little bit on the Delta because I didn't have to upshift. Even here it was a nice rotation now. I think I'm actually overturning my steering wheel a lot in the hairpins. I'm just getting way too high steep angles. Slightly wide, but no cut. Capet Esport settings. I know what you mean, but I've not really gone much through the JSON since when I first installed the LMU. So maybe, I mean, I see now I could gain quite a bit of performance by reducing, what is it called, the mirror or like rear view back clip or some setting like that, which where you can set up how many meters you can see in the virtual and the physical car mirrors. Actually, now that you mentioned Capet Esports Guide, I realized I see like infinite distance in the mirror, so yeah, that can be easy, I don't know, 10, 20 FPS. Pedro, I think nobody knows. But one thing is for certain, if we all buy everything that studio produces, and if all our friends and everyone else buys all from the Studio 397, then we will get everything we want sooner or later. Atari ST. Wait, that could run LMU maybe on 1 frame per week, right? It's a lot of headlight flashing. He had thought for a moment of moving away from me and going on the right, but maybe it was just kind of a diagonal line. That would be an interesting sim racing esports event, you know. Going to a LAN site, all prepared in esport jerseys, and then you would get the 1980s computers with state-of-art racing sims from that era. I don't even know at which point like LAN competitions were possible with racing games, but that would be quite a funny thing. Actually, I don't even know what was the first game which actually had force feedback. Must have been something from, I don't know, mid-90s, maybe? I'm too young to know. I'm on the wrong side of the corner, but a nice switchback will do it. But it would be probably better to wait behind him and just go for the inside. Oi oi oi, where is my apex? Oh. Oopsie. So to change my right side tires in the second pit stop, I will lose extra 4 to 5 seconds. And I would assume that nobody else is gonna change tires. So then the decision is either keep all the tires and be for sure in the lead. Hey, that should work, right? In RF2 the tire cliff is normally like at 30%, or maybe sometimes it can go down to 20% or 15%, and I think we'll be hitting that quite soon. I mean, quite soon. We will be close to hitting that in the end of the race, that's what I was trying to say. I think right rear tire will take the same as if I change both right rear and front right. I almost said front rear. I don't think I took that corner in same way 2 times in a race. It's every time different line. Stop locking up, please. And that's a cut. Oh, it's not, okay. RF2 GT3, I don't know. It felt like in the past rounds that on our McLaren 720S the mediums died under 30%. Now it depends a lot on the thermal deck. If it's high thermal deck, then it could be 30%. If there is no thermal deck, it can go down to 10%. It all depends on the conditions and on the track layout. That's a yellow cut? What? It would be really good to know exactly how the tire wear is done in RF2, to be honest. I never fully understood. There is abrasion, there is thermal deck, there is pressures. But then there is also the thickness of the double upshift. I have it set to 50 milliseconds for eliminating double upshifts, but I still get double upshifts many times. Why is it so difficult for me to pronounce things today? So... what was I talking? Yeah, there is like a thickness of the thread on the tire that can actually affect the temperatures and the grip, and it's so difficult to understand what's going on with the car. Like the old ISI tires surely had a grip at like 50%, around 50. But yeah, I mean, I see that we are going much longer into the race now in this third stint, or second stint, so third stint is gonna be much shorter than I expected. I kind of assumed it's gonna be 40 to 45 minute stints, but it will be a very short last, so it will make no real sense to waste 5 seconds to change the right side tires. And again, Volker and Neil are not really closing in on me. Third stint about 14 minutes. Well, I have 16 minutes of fuel remaining. And it's 35 to go, so could be a bit more than 14. But I think we are not going in a fuel saving fashion today, we are all just kind of pushing. Maybe just small lift and coasting to make sure we do the at at least that one extra lap. But well, 9 laps to go of this stint. And yeah, for 20 minutes or less, it surely doesn't make any sense to change any tire. And Delta is still going green, so... Well, hello there, Mr. Banegas. But probably my fear shouldn't be about the tire wear, but just about rear ride getting too cold. Would almost need softs here. Under 20 Celsius track temp now. That's very cold. But you know what? That's gonna be a fastest lap of the race for me. Green, yellow, purple. That reminds me of some ice cream. I don't know, apple, vanilla, cherry, maybe. Hello, Christopher. Yeah, the science for sure paid off. I mean, it would be science to go for a no tire change as well, but this is better science. To have fresh tires on the left, old on the right. I really expected it to be much worse. And to be honest, into turn 1 it was quite bad. It gave me zero confidence at all. And it started locking up so easily. But after 3-4 corners... this corner? After 3 or 4 corners it was instantly... like, almost normal already, so... And now I'm kind of pulling a gap to everybody behind. I surely expected that I will have to do quite some overtaking moves this race, but for now... if the pit stop goes right, and if I stop messing up apexes like this, I should be fine. Despite the messed up apex, it's looking to be a personal best. The delta is just going crazy. 45.9, look at that. Maybe that's... I don't know. I cannot really understand. The tire temps are falling, so I thought it's gonna get slower and slower. But it's not. Well, one stopper would be very difficult. I suppose it would be like 12 lap stretch. So instead of... I don't know, what are we doing now? How many laps? 27? 28. Instead of 28 laps, you would have to do, I don't know, 36 maybe per stint, or 34, and that's a big stretch. But the BMW is waking up. And I just now see that it's funny, like these temperatures. these are going up and down like very aggressively. I don't think they are going that fast up and down when tires are fresh. Or did they add the decimal places lately? I never saw that like going up and down this fast, or maybe I didn't, I'm just confused now. Who knows? Anyway, I'm allowed to be a little bit confused about stuff like that when I'm in kind of all right of a lead. You know, for the fuel saving, 3% energy per lap, let's say. I normally like do a full push lap and then divide that target with the full push lap, and if you get something like 0.91, which is like 91% allowed usage per lap, then you know that it's gonna be crazy hard. Until 95% it's doable, but below 95 it becomes really difficult. So what am I using now? 3.5. Well, I'm a little bit on a target, but I think 3.7 would be full push, maybe 3.65. And then if you divide 3 divided by 3.65, that's a difficult one to do it in my head. Kind of like 6 divided by 7. What's that? Something like 0.91 something. And it's worse than that, like it's 6 divided by 7.1 or... yeah, anyway. I mean, sometimes it feels quite easy. And like a whole pit stop seems like it will just waste a lot of time. Because, well, I mean, you lose, I don't know what, 35 seconds, 40 seconds with a splash. And 40 seconds is a huge amount. But then when you're racing, and when you actually have to stick to the target, and then you see that you're just losing a second per lap, you just realize that, well, 40 seconds is actually not that much when it comes to strategy. Yeah, I'm not cutting across in front of him. I get Bohemi PTSD. But that must feel so bad, like if you're like leading a World Endurance Championship race and you just like overtake a traffic or like a slower class car and just try to do a normal corner, and suddenly you have that car in your rear and you're spinning around from the lead. That must feel terrible. Even in like a random online race it can feel terrible, let alone something huge like that, because it's so easy to avoid. So whom do we have here? E8. Oh, I need to prepare my pit stop. Have 3 laps more to do it. So we will keep the tires. Then we will decrease the virtual energy. That rotary... okay. That rotary encoder is so slow. So what do I need? According to Tiny Pedal overlay, I need 37%. Is that a move? A bit marginal, but alright. I don't particularly like that Toyota ahead of me. Not sure how much I should trust the overlay. I will take a lap extra just in case. %. Yeah, that's indeed quite crazy. That's doable if it's a 25-minute race and you have ×3 fuel consumption. Then that's a viable solution or a viable strategy. Otherwise, not really. Refill means, yeah, how many percent of energy. So refill is energy, refuel is fuel, but we're not looking at fuel anyway because the fuel ratio is what it is, it's 0.92 and that's what I need. Whee! That's not a great place to do that. Maybe some of you guys will remember how our friend and colleague and back then co-driver from a sister team at Le Mans Virtual, I think it was it September 22, LMVS Bahrain, and one car tried to let him through. He did exactly this. Exited that sector to Snake and stamped on the brake, and Michi went straight into his rear. So yeah, for now it's reflex training, yeah. Well, good old days. That was the race that we have actually won, and I think Michi didn't get too much damage with that, so they were actually quite well placed in the end as well. So one more lap. Neil is already boxing. No, I find this tiny pedal overlay extremely useful. I just don't trust it yet, even though till now it was always kind of alright. So now it's telling me to refill plus 37.7, so I will just add one lap to that. Because I have the gap. Right, so no change. Well, 42% for 12 laps. Well, 12 laps should be... it makes sense, you know. So box. Slightly cautious, but alright. Yeah, that plus one lap for comfort is always an important thing to do. Things can go wrong so quickly. But, well, I mean, depends. If it's esports context, then you need to be marginal, then you don't have the gap to refuel for a lap. Okay, well, where are the people? Ciklari has just boxed. Polher. So, okay, Polher P2, jumped Yanni, Neil. Jules Neil, not Yanni. Wait, Neil Yanni was a WEC driver, right? Some years ago. I'm confusing stuff a little bit. Ah, he's still driving. Alright, yeah. Well, I guess that's now a simple cruise till the end. I think fuel is safe. If I don't hit any cliff on the rear right, it should be fine. Inex, for your part, wait, I don't know if I fully understand that. The fuel calculator don't work like the Delta and some other overlays. I don't really understand what you mean by that. You talking about Tiny Pedal plugin or? Looks like the Ferraris are having some issues. Log brake must been probably that there was either done because Neil said sorry, but maybe it was a GTE spinning ahead of them as well. But what an unexpected turn of the strategy. I really didn't feel like I have that pace at the start. Although, going from the default setup from qualifying to my actual proper setup for the race was kind of a big change, so I needed to get used to that. But again, the gap was just not changing for the whole first stint. We were just always thereabout. And then suddenly things opened up when Fedorchenko did the mistake and had the half spin, or was it even a full spin? And then the Ferraris were doing something weird. And then the strategy unfolded, the science unfolded, and now we are just cruising like yesterday. I mean, it's good to have races like that now and then. We had the excitement in the first 40 minutes, for sure. I don't have anything against a slow Sunday cruise back home. With Tiny Pedal plugin you don't have all the overlays that work. So with Tiny Pedal plugin you have those modules, like you have the... what's it called? You have some tabs, you have like the widgets, and then you have the modules. And like I think, to my understanding, the modules are... how to say, like they are just enabling extra data acquisition. And then the module gets the data and then the widget displays it. So maybe you can check if those modules are turned off. But also it could be that you don't have the shared memory plugin DLL installed. Yo-yo was more interesting than usual. Yeah, I suppose so. Although I could read that in a different... in many different ways, you know. That could mean that my streams normally are very boring and now suddenly I had some battling, so that's good. And that I should maybe get slower or do more mistakes for the content. Nah, I mean, some races are always gonna be more boring than other races. Nothing can be done against that. I don't use the damage module because... I mean, I do use it, right? Yeah, I use it. If you look well, you will see here some dark squares. But I don't really appreciate it. Like it's there just to show me if there was some bigger contact, but I don't trust it. I don't think it corresponds to actual damage. I've already lost a rear wing once, and it was not flashing red. It was just like showing bigger damage, because you can display kind of less damage, more damage, or like component missing. And I was missing a rear wing, but it was displaying just bigger damage, and so on. No worries, Yankesh, like I have hidden it conveniently so it doesn't bother my eyes. I just know where it is, so when I look at it, I know, but otherwise it's trying not to flash me, so I would not be having it in my peripheral vision all the time. Thank you for the sub, or the subs. And I promise I'm trying my best to... I'm not trying my best. I'm trying to get a reliable subscriber notificator. But for now I just have the sounds, so I just hear that there was a sub. I've been saying that for months. I still have not fixed it. I blame Streamlabs. It shows on the stream and in OBS, but if I have a widget, it just doesn't show me. It just doesn't update. Yeah, Daniele, I'm not sure what the strategies normally are in these conditions. Like, Bahrain is not a high energy circuit, to be honest. You're doing a lot of this low speed stuff, so tires will not be doing thermal deck things. But it is still wearing quite a lot, like the abrasion is high. So 2 hours on mediums. Kind of sounds just about right. Although I am sliding the rears quite a bit. I think that's not too realistic. Maybe I should turn up the FFB a little, turn up TC a little bit to avoid things like this, kind of micro corrections out of every single corner. So maybe the wear is a bit too low. Maybe that's the case. Maybe the thermal deck is too high, and the wear is too low. But maybe there is some other things going on in the background anyway. Thank you. He was flashing and I didn't really know if he is warning me not to go for that silly dive. But he was just gently trying to tell me that he's letting me go. So thank you. I keep doing too late apex there. At least I'm hitting the curb on the apex. That's kind of sufficient. Thank you once more. But I'm seriously confused by this setup. It feels like in high-speed corners it's really good, and in low speed it lacks rotation. But if I actually showed you the setup, it's funny because it's made in such a way that it should have really good low speed rotation, but could be struggling with front performance in high speed, because the front would be like hitting the packers too much and stuff. But yeah, I don't quite understand. So much more stuff to be learned about LMU. We've been driving it for more than half a year, and I still don't understand most of the things. But well, one update and a good part of the understanding could be useless. Look at that rotation, it just rotated. Sometimes it just rotates beautifully, but most of the times it doesn't, so I need to find my consistency. Hi Stefan, why do I drive the BMW? Well, the easiest answer was that I, from the start of LMU, just drove the Porsche and the Ferrari, and then at some point I decided, well, I want to just learn all the cars, so I drove the all the hypercars. So for some time I just then drove the Cadillac, then I switched to the new Peugeot, then I switched to the BMW, and I'm kind of getting good understanding of it, and I plan to go to maybe Toyota next. I never had a proper go at it at all, but it's a nice car. Van Val. Well, I had my chance to drive the Van Val on Thursday, but I was testing for the Virtual Endurance Championship. And well, I guess if BMW was not a fun car, I would not be driving it for too much, but it's really nice. It's very good race car, I think. It's got good power, good straight line performance. It's nice on the brakes. Like it hates lockup. You cannot really trail brake into corners. But it doesn't lock up as dramatically as the Cadillac does, because the Cadillac Well, if you saw some of my streams from some months ago, I threw away so many good results, like probably 3 or 4 victories and some more podiums, just because of a random front inside lockup at very high speed. Like into Mulsanne, hairpin at Le Mans at 300. Gently on the brake and front right just snaps, locks up completely, and I go into the gravel and stuff like that. And the BMW is not doing that. It's doing these micro lockups, which are making it extremely understeery sometimes in low speed if you carry too much speed into a hairpin. But it's very drivable. It's funny how initially when you go on the first gear, on power, you just get exactly the same acceleration as the GT cars. It's just not accelerating, and then it starts accelerating. I don't know. I don't think it has a worse power to weight ratio, right? But it just doesn't have the traction of the GT cars. Yeah, if you want to start hating Cadillac, take it for a special event or a weekly race around Portimao. You will not want to touch it ever again. Although I did win a race, but it was, I think, a lucky win. .499 flashback with Porsche. Oof, my memory is not serving me too well, to be honest. Sounds like a challenge. Well, I'm too late on the brakes. Too late on the brakes. Actually, no, I was perfect on the brakes, but the car is not cooperating. I'm on traction. I don't know, I want to fix the traction one day, but there is not much more I can do. The only thing I can really do about this is just crank up the traction control even harder. It doesn't feel like a traction issue, it just feels like a sideways grip issue. There is just not enough lateral support. At the same time it's not rotating enough, so there is really nothing you can do. Yeah, the Alpine seems to be quite good, and on the release day it felt like it's a second and a half of pace. Thank you, Simon. Well, we are taking the car into the last lap, and in fact, Tiny Pedal plugin was spot on with the fuel. But I don't have anything against myself having taken one extra precautionary lap of fuel. Yeah, Young, it's quite funny because I think my experience from other sims is that all cars kind of drive the same way. I think I talked very shitty things about iRacing for quite some time, but like that trail braking in iRacing is just so weird, and I think that's the same for every car. But here, for different cars, completely different driving principles seem to apply. Obviously there has not been any huge esports events, so I might get proven wrong, but with some cars you really need to have it on the brake through the apex to keep the rotation. And then with some other cars you need to coast a lot, like with this BMW and so on. So it's a really nice experience to drive different cars in LMU. Anyway, here we go, one last counter steer of the last corner. And we take the checkered flag after 67 laps for a very nice Sunday evening victory. Oof, well, quali was very worrying. Race start was very exciting. First stint was... I didn't know what's gonna happen, like anything could have happened. But then we went for science with the fresh tires on the left side. And jumped everyone and drove into the distance. Alright, well, thank you chat for the GG's. Stefan, you asked, is the Alpine good? Yeah, the POV from the camera position is absolutely terrible. Like, it's, I don't know, I complained to the devs about it because some cars have it, like BMW, like it would be nice if I could move it higher, but I cannot. But it's alright, so that like I can feel most of my monitor with actual track, right? I don't want to see a big dash and a big roof on the top. And with Alpine you just have like a small window in the middle of the track, and it's quite annoying. And I really don't appreciate them doing it. But I think Ferrari is very nice with how it's shaped. Well, anyway, what can I say? Let's quickly check the replay of the start, because that was quite interesting. Hope it's gonna work. Looking forward to checking how much DR I gained, because, well, that's gonna be quite a good gain. So, this is interesting, because, well, there was a gap, and then normally when you're forcing it on the inside, you're gonna go 3 or 4 wide, and on the inside you're just gonna be squeezed into the apex. But I went quite deep, and then the guys on the left side braked so late. And then the classic Bahrain thing happens, right? I had enough space to take a normal apex, but I got scared. I think I saw that Toyota like up there in the mirror. I was expecting us to be 4 wide, and I just didn't trust anything. So I clipped the apex. I overtook somebody. I think it counted this car. Wait, who is that? Can I... Chaplar. Yeah, I think I overtook him. It thought I overtook him off track. So luckily... Wait, where is my... Yeah, that's him, right? Yeah. Luckily he got both of other cars. So he overtook me first. I think it was like that, yeah? And then unluckily he absolutely rammed me off track, and I got another illegal overtake. But then luckily he overtook me again, so I could... Oof, what were they doing back there? Mr. Muzaidis. What was he doing? That's not a braking point. That's a complete brake check. Not best, but well, I survived. Wait, one more thing I need to check. I thought Wiesner was on pole. He was on pole. How did he lose the pole? Maybe bad reaction. he got swarmed on both sides. If this was LMP2, that would be a correct thing to do, because LMP2 has cold brakes, which have no grip, but hypercars don't really have cold tires, you know. Yeah. Full throttle normal lap braking point is like 150 or just beyond 150, and he's already braking here, so yeah, that was fully on him. And then oh, hi Gilles. I tripled the right side tires and I singled and doubled the left side tires. I just took the left side. So here everything disintegrated for Wisner. So I got him around the outside. I left enough space, alright. And then there was a big bonk, right? Was it next lap? Oh, alright. He did it to himself. That's a classic move under brakes. Although arguably Musaidis would have clipped him either way. Ah, nah. And then he floors it into the Toyota. That was not great racing. Anyway, apart from that, it was smooth sailing, so time to check the DR, the juicy DR. And let's... Where is my scene? Where are you? LMU, Le Mans Ultimate should be turning on. Here it is. Yeah, Gilles, I think the tire wear was actually good enough that we wouldn't even have to change any tire. Plus 12, alright. I think it would be much higher than plus 12 if it was not for qualifying, taking it a bit away. Thank you for the sub, Marcus. I can finally thank you like by name, because now I can have OBS opened without it killing my frame rate. So, alright, plus 12. Was a great race, nice win. Anything else to be said? I don't think so. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Stefan. And Michael and Gilles, you had quite a crazy race there for P2, I see. A race-long battle. And poor Alexei will be kicking himself for that mistake. But poor Daniel will be kicking himself even more. He had it on pole, he had great pace. It would be crazy battle with him, probably. Anyway, James P2 in GT. Ah, Banegas got the P1. Wait, that's a big gap. Or maybe it's because Banegas had me between you two, so he could do the extra lap. Dalibor, my race just vanished. What? Unlucky. LMU bug or what? 24 hours for Anna on RF2. Oof, I need to double check that. I have heard about that, but not this year. I think it was some years ago. I need to check with my team. So I cannot really respond if I'm participating or not. Ah, James, you had the damage. Alright. Biggest French charity race. I will double check. Yeah, I didn't have it on my radar yet, so I will look at it. But yeah, anyway, it's 11:30. almost about to be midnight. So I will say thank you so much for the subs, for the likes, for all the chatting. It was a bit of a maybe boring race in the second half, but well, happily I had the pace in the end to make it slightly more boring, and the tires held up, so I could keep the pace despite not changing the right side. So it was quite a nice one. So thank you again. Have a great rest of the day, great night, and see you next time. Bye bye.